lovely assistant is my daughter, who's the next generation owner of Church. She'll be number 3 generation. So we're celebrating 62 years of business. Great. Thank you very much. So we'll have a big spring open house. I'll make sure you're all invited. I think the weekend of spring. It's at March 20 or whatever that is. It's on the website. Plan all this stuff, but it's like in retail terms, that's like forever in the future. So today's class, wildflowers. I've grown a lot of wildflowers. In fact, I was working on them yesterday, just kind of prepping them. I just cut all my wildflowers back. It's just a lawnmower, right over it. Let the seed fly. So I'll have even more seed next year or this spring. So it'll just be glorious. Right now, the roadrunners, I've got a pair of them, husband and wife team, out there every day. I wonder what's out there to eat. So they're harvesting a true grub, beetles, aphids, all kinds of stuff. Because I don't think roadrunners are seed eaters. I think they are bug eaters, lizard eaters, snake eaters. Those things aren't out right now, so they're doing probably grubs, other stuff. So but it's fun to watch it. If you have a fence, up and down, or if you're pecking around, it's magical. It's one of our magical birds. So, wildflowers. Why is January or winter the time to start wildflowers? If it's truly a wild seed, many of the seed have very thick holes. So you'll notice the seed mixes, they're real feathery. They're made to catch a wind and fly, or they're heavy as can be, and they got a real thick outer shell, and they need to go through this freeze and thaw cycle to scarify or crack open or break open that seed ball. Without that, they won't germinate. So they need winter to get ready to germinate in March, April, May. Something to be aware of. I know you all know this, but there are different qualities of everything. You notice how things on the shelf are getting smaller at the same price, or they just dumbed it down to where it breaks, or it's almost embarrassed for retail what I'm seeing. It's because of inflation. They're trying to keep the price points, all psychological driven. Wildflowers are exceptionally sensitive to that because it's so easy to use a filler called an annual seed, which is far cheaper, half the price, but perennial, truly native seed. Those are rather expensive. Many of them are hand-picked from the wild, and so they're just not farm grown. So a true wildflower perennial mix comes back year after year. It's going to be a little more expensive than an annual mix. So watch that one. The other one that I really see, I'm almost offended, because it's got a real pretty package. It's like $9.99 or $12.99. Oh, buy these. It's probably annual seed filled with vermiculite. Just a total absolute filler. There's no seed in it. It's just they're just using to make it feel full. So kind of watch those two things as you're shopping at Waters Garden Center. You're only going to get the best of the best. If you pay a little bit more, get a whole lot more stuff. So we're only selling perennial seed that will come back, that are native to here, will come back year after year. Poppies especially, we've got a separate poppy mix. It's nothing but poppies, like orange, California poppies. That's probably the #1 most recognized wildflower. But our mix has whites, reds, pinks. We're doing more than just orange. We're trying to make it fun, exciting. You can blend the two together. Don't think so. If you like the native, the Arizona mix, you make one just for here that's more drought hardy. It's still showing. You can blend the two together. You can take some poppy. I don't know. We can blend them, shake and bake them, and make them go. We'll explain all of that today. So in about 40 minutes, we'll cover how to grow them, what are the mixes, when do you start them, how do you water them, how do you keep the birds from eating your investment. Okay? And then this is a pretty big class, but I'll make sure I leave room at the end for questions. Okay, so we'll do all that pretty quick. Ready to go?
Yep.
Here we go. #1 tool. Right here. This is your wildflower, not a shovel, a rake, a stiff tine rake. What you're starting out with, wherever your plot is, wherever the garden is, rake up all the junk that's there. Old roots, rocks. They're all just going to heat up in the summer. It's going to reduce the flower time. So you want to keep it with a seed germinate into the soil faster, have as deep a root as you can, Those rocks, anything that's bigger than probably a marble size, it's not going to be your friend. So if it slips through these times, you're probably okay. Try to get all that debris. Now, some of you aren't going to have anything left. You got so many rocks. You folks out in the valley areas, you got these, I call it potato rocks or something. They just emerge out of the ground when it rains. Those are not your friend with wildflowers. You want to get those things out because they'll heat up in summer. They'll be in full bloom and then they'll just stop blooming. They won't die. But green, you want flowers. You want flowers on your wildflowers. A good wildflower mix is going to have a wave of flowers. They're going to come up at different times, not all at once. Kind of God's created them to come up, kind of be flexible. And so you'll see some seed come up. Then you go, where are those poppies? I put all these poppies in there, and they come up like three weeks later. There's a wave of flowers that come through, and then they'll bloom in different ways. So you just see them come up. So one will bloom, and then the verbena will show up, and then the poppies will go, and the coreopsis just do this wave of colors, and that's the beauty of wildflowers. Now, right now, they're all brown. They're perennials. They're hibernating underground. They're still there, still alive. They're just underground. You can go ahead and whack those things back right now, anytime you want. So before you're going to add to your wildflower patch, you want to extend it, cut it back, then go ahead and rake out the area. You're opening up the earth so it will receive the seed better. If you've got a whole bunch of old wildflower heads or grass or weeds in there, seed don't germinate if they're floating above on top of plants. They want to touch the earth. So you're opening this so you can receive more of the seed can get into the earth. So you get better germination rates. Make sense? We'll show you what to do the other end of this in a second. Wildflowers, we got 4 mixes. The poppy mix I mentioned. We've got some of you live in the deer country. Antelope. I've seen antelope being a big deal now. So close to the airport, those field areas. So the deer mix is made to keep, for those of you that have heavy pressure right on that wildland interface, they're less likely to eat this mix than all the others. So we made just a special mix just for us and mule deer, basically. We started with that, but it seems to carry over with antelope and jackrabbits, that kind of stuff. Okay? Got this very pretty mix. Okay? Got the Arizona mix. That's the one I first put together, the very first one 20 years ago. This is the Arizona mix. You don't know where to go, just go with this one. It's really pretty and super hardy, especially if you're RVing, you're gone a lot, you like that cruise down through the Panama for 3 weeks. You come back, these are still being good. The flowers are a little bit smaller, but they are just consistent, and they reseed like crazy. So lots of coreopsis, lots of poppies in that one. We are in butterfly and hummingbird country, so we make just a mix that draws in more activity from the butterflies. That's this one. And the last one was a poppy. We do have a couple grasses too. We made 2 grasses. One is called a meadow mix. Actually, the very, very first, my Harold Waters, he's passed a couple of years ago, was the founder of the company, started us back in 1962. He created the native grass mix because there were so many stars of construction out there. We needed to re-veg that, so you put it in a septic field, it just looks, backhoe just tore it a new one. So we made that to revegetate that, make it look native again. So it's a grass of tall grasses, short grasses, wheat grasses, rice grass, ramas. It's a mixture. We were finding that a lot of folks wanted to take that and add wildflowers to it. So, but the tall grasses shaded all the flowers. So I came along and created a meadow mix, just the short grasses, flowers injected with it. Now you've got this grass area with flowers coming through. It's quite pretty. So I guess we have 6 altogether, wild mixes, 2 grasses, 4 seed mixes. Okay, I didn't launch this by you first, but Eric's okay with it. Your mother's okay with it. 10% off wildflowers today only. You're not gonna have a coupon. You got to be here. You folks online, we know you're there. You have front row seat. We're glad you tuned in. It's for you too, but you got to come in. Okay, so try to get It's January, I'm feeling generous and I'm bored. Wildflower, okay, so just kind of go for it. Where was I at? 6 mixes. Okay, so 2% off.
I heard 3 flowers and then I heard breakfast.
So poppies, hummingbird, poppies is their own separate thing. Just because it's so popular, it's one of the best sellers. Poppies in Hawaii. I don't think it's the prettiest mix, but it is. Once you start planting poppies on the top of the ridge, you're just going to have poppies all over the place. They can be kind of weedy, but they come up everywhere. Because that's what you need. It's great. It's a real pretty poppy mix. Now, some of the seed are so small. When I first started spreading or planting wildflowers, I would spread them by hand. And some of the seed are so small, you can't tell where they're at. You just can't see them. They're just so tiny. So, okay, I got it. And then they come up clumpy. So I didn't get it either. And a little bit of wildflower goes a long ways. It's not like a lawn. You're not doing 8 pounds per 1,000 square feet. You're doing like an ounce. It's like really small amounts go a long ways. These are also fairly large plants. An echinacea can be knee high. This one seed can give you that. So they go a long way. So you're going lighter rather than heavy. What I came up with is I create my own hydro mulch. This is an insider tip you'll only hear here, basically. This really was a game changer. It helped me kind of even out my wildflower patches. I just take a wheelbarrow, dump a load of premium mulch into the wheelbarrow. This is compost. Basically, it looks like compost. We've screened this down real tight, so it's 1/4 inch minus. It's really the #1 seller for this. Trees, shrubs, amending the herbs to make the soil where it will grow a big spruce tree. But it really is for wildflowers. Okay? So take a bag of this, throw it in a wheelbarrow or a bucket or whatever, and then throw your wildflowers on top of that. Do I have? Which one do we want to do? Let's do hummingbirds. That'll be fun. Can I open this up?
Sure, why not? Go for it.
Okay.
That one will be
Right? That's like hundreds of dollars worth of seed.
When you do have big sizes, like hundreds of dollars, people don't buy this size. We got scoops. They don't want to spend this much. They don't need this much. This is like acres of seed, not feet of seed. So, but I can use it too. Come here, baby. Here, I got this.
It's like, use your knife.
I thought it was a Ziploc thing. Sorry for you folks online. Don't go anywhere. I know it's boring. You can show my behind. It's okay. Just going to take a handful of this. That's about 1 scoop. That's probably, I'll be generous. We'll do more. I'll just take this and I just blend it together. Let's show you the seed. It kind of looks like this. You can pass that around if you want to take a look at what the seed blend looks like as you're looking at that. Pass that way. Oh, here, I got 2. Pass one this way. Kind of see the different mixes. These are all just a different blend. We take a percentage. It's a recipe basically of beauty. And all of them are going to germinate. The secret is these are expensive. You don't want the birds to eat them. You want every single seed to germinate. This is how you do it. Okay, you ready? So take your mulch, blend this whole thing together. And just now, when you spread this, now you can spread and you can see where the mulch is going. It does 2 things for you. It does 3 things. You can see where it's going, so you spread it out even. It keeps the birds off because now it's hidden in all this mulch. And this ensures you get seed to soil contact, you get every single seed germinate. You're creating your own hydro mulch. So just a real easy secret. Wildflowers can be grown right out there in the yard. They can be grown in containers, raised beds. The prettiest ones I've seen are raised beds. It's beautiful. Wildflowers come out of them. It's gorgeous. And you will, guaranteed, have more butterflies than hummingbirds. Now with this, at the same time, I would also add all-purpose plant food. Greatest wildflower food. Greatest flower food you ever find. The main ingredient with this is cottonseed meal. You rosarians, now you add cottonseed meal flour. You want to enter them in the fair with brighter colors and more fragrance, cottonseed. That's its main ingredients. Well, it also works for anything that blooms. Lilacs, butterfly bush, wildflowers. Okay. But I'll get this and then probably need. Sorry, it'll smell a little earthy. You older gardeners. We had a garden class in January. I know I'm talking to gardeners. So you'll be okay with earthy, smelly. The other ingredient is bird guano. It's probably cottonseed meal bird guano. It's kind of what you're smelling, except for you folks in the back. Glad you're here. I'm going to blend that in at the same time. I am the laziest gardener you will ever find. If I can combine steps, I will. So I just don't want to do more work, but I love beauty. Now it just all looks like mulch. You could spread that out there, and that will start germinating probably in about 4 or 5 weeks. It'll start coming up. Another mistake I find folks make, they plant these and they have a gardener helping them take care of the property. Or these mow and blow guys, they're not gardeners. They don't know plants. They know heavy equipment, blowers. And so I've had more customers have those kind of guys just whack off. But wildflowers are not blooming yet, but they can look a little weedy when they first come up. They come in and just spray them or whack them or they kill them basically. So kind of watch after them if you've got those kind of folks helping you take care of your yard. Just kind of, hey, wildflowers are here. Don't do anything with that. Leave them alone. It's a school of hard knocks. There are too many customers over the years I've heard. Okay? You're going to spread this out over that area you've already raked. And then you're going to take your rake. Where'd my rake go? And you're tired. This is when I use the other side. When I get it all in, I'll try to scooch it with the back side of this. Get as even as I can, as smooth as I can. Helps it even right out. It will also help those the open areas. It helps to smooth all that out. When you took the rocks out, helps smooth it all out. That's what ensures that you got lots and lots of seed germination. Okay? It'll bloom really well this year. Year 1, these will bloom. These are perennials though. They bloom better year 2. They actually get more beautiful. So, and that's because of the age of the root. The roots have to get down there. If it's got more roots, you get more flowers and bigger flowers all at the same time. So year 2 for perennials. That's also why perennials are a little bit more expensive, at least here at Waters. Our annuals are typically 6 to maybe 12 weeks old, and they're blooming. So you can get a fast turn. You get 2 or 3 turns out of that greenhouse. Perennials, they're there for a year and a half before they're old. If you're folding them on so when they will bloom for you, like now, you got to hold it on. You got to hold them over for the winter, throw them out, and then they're old enough to actually start blooming nicely. Especially peonies, some of these bigger flowers, they need to be older. These are truly perennials. They're going to be the same way. They're going to be better the second year. Okay? Watch the birds. They are going to want to eat your seed, especially the seed eaters in winter. This should protect them. So it keeps keeps them off, hides the seed. They might eat a few, but not going to eat them all, no way. So then you're going to water. How often should you water it? Hold on a second. Maybe pray for snow. It's going to help it. In fact, I put wildflowers on top of snow. It was magic. It really worked well because that snow is melted, just like swallowed up the seed. And so I got the best year ever when I done that. So snow is not going to affect these at all. It's just going to help. Rain, that kind of stuff. So remember last year this time? We had nothing but snow from this through May. It was miserable owning a garden center. Every week we were shoveling more. I had a sore back by the time winter was over. Doesn't look like we have that, but we're for sure going to get moisture. March is always wet. Usually it's snowy. So that's what you need. If you don't get that, you probably want to water these a couple times. Every 10, 14 days. Water them, keep it moist and not soggy. It's gonna help it. Frequently, a little secret I've done, I've more than once taken a soaker hose and kind of thrown it out there before I put the seed down. Wherever the soaker hose has a moist spot, I'm generous with wildflowers right there. Really works out well. Put them on a timer, on a hose bib or something, or actually bring them up to a valve, water them that way. It really works out well. Or traditional spray, whatever, but a couple times. Gets them up. Seedlings are really sensitive to two things. They're wanting to die if they get dry, wanting to die if they get wet, like soggy wet. They want to be this even balance. Once that tap leak is down, all the pressure's on. But to get them from seedling down to that first couple inches, we're kind of sensitive. Watch that. Your gardeners should kind of hamper them, you'll take care of them. If you see the seedlings laying over, they're probably getting too wet. You see them drying out, you know what's going on. But about every 10, 14 days works out pretty good. Once you're into the season and start to bloom, maybe once a week. Keeps them looking really good. Okay? Even the Arizona mix. That's the hardiest mix. I know I said it's Arizonans. But you know, in the wild, some of you, they have this glorious show, and then they dry out, they get this brown look, and then the monsoons come and they kind of look good again. You can even that cycle out and just go, I just want it to look good all the time, with a little bit of care makes a difference. Okay? I gotta get the handouts to them, 3 of them. I'm going over, I actually put together how to grow wildflowers. That's what we're going over right now. It's in one page, super easy. I want to give that to you. In fact, I think I printed out 25 of these. Dang it, there's not enough. I'll just email it to everyone. I've got planting wildflowers in 5 steps. I want you to have that. It's just what we just went over, just like that. Okay. I've got one more step after I get this done. I'll cover with you. Then we'll be done with this. I had a meeting last night, board meeting at the lodge, and 2 people said, "How do I water? Am I watering enough?" That was a question. So I just better share that with folks. That's a group of 10 people. I'm sure there's others who are going, "Should I water enough?" If you haven't watered since you turned the system off, you're not watering enough. You're watering about twice a month, especially new plantings. So new fruit trees, new evergreen planting, about twice a month is pretty good. What's fooled everyone is it snowed. It didn't snow very much, and I know I had some rain on my rain gauge. I had 0.08 inches. It's nothing. There's like spit on it, and 0.25. 2 rainy days. So really, I didn't even get a half an inch. Really, 1 inch of rain will penetrate about 6 inches of soil. That helps you figure out. So how much did my rain in my yard penetrate? Maybe this much. It's not really, it took the pressure off those couple days of rain, but it really didn't go in the ground very much. And so you do want to keep those plants hydrated, especially hedgerows, evergreens, privacy screens. You don't want that to be, we call it winter burn, winter damage. The tips will burn back because it got dry and then it got cold. It causes that damage. To keep it hydrated, keeps all that flood. And plants are growing right now. You look closely at the buds, at the stems, they're really swelling up quite nicely. So that's the moisture piece. So don't let it hurt. Don't hurt your plants. And then in 2 weeks we have how to grow fruit trees. Just baiting you. Your fruit trees are your thing. Here's the handout we're going to use. We'll go into details on what kind, how to grow, cross-pollination, how fast, all that kind of stuff. That's in 2 weeks. Next week is soil prep. Okay? I have those 3 handouts. I'll send it to you by email. Put down your email. Now some of you, you did pretty good last week. Some classes are really terrible. Your handwriting is atrocious. So if you could, just take a little extra minute, make sure, because I'm the one that's going to enter this, try to interpret, what is that? Is that a Gmail or Ymail? What is that? They're both valid. I can't quite tell if they're both. But give me your email and you'll get all 3 of those handouts. Now, if you're part of our garden club already, this is not going out to all 10,000 garden club members. It's just for you all, the 30, 40 people that are here and online. You'll see it's already, there's links right there on the chat bar. That if you could, huge favor. We're the little player going up against Home Depot, Lowe's, and Walmart. We're doing pretty good, but we really benefit if you like, chat, comment, or even subscribe, because Google kind of ranks us higher. Do us a favor, thank you. Anyway, they're right there. Print them out yourself. So that'll be to you probably this afternoon. Last week I missed it because I got busy. I got it off on Sunday, but it'll be to you shortly, okay? When I get this all spread, we've got our food, we've got our mulch. One last step, humic. This is the greatest product for seedlings you'll ever find. I put this, spread it on top of the whole area. What humic is, it's humic acid. It's a play on names. Humic acid, basically, if you take a compost pile, and you just basically compost it down to this last element, you're left with humic acid. Plants love that. Worms like it, mycorrhizals like it, all the things that are good for plants in the soil, it basically juices the soil. So when the seedlings see that, they go, wow, the soil's alive. Oh, it's got to be okay. I'm going to root out here. So it increases root mass. Incredibly good for wildflowers, grasses, vegetables, you're starting radishes. It's really, really good for increasing root mass. Really important, that last step. Something you don't quite hear about. You'll never hear it. You won't Google it and see it, but it's a game changer for local kind of wildflower patches. Humic. It looks like coffee grounds. It's not coffee grounds, but it kind of looks like that. Spread it out, water it in, it'll activate it, increase your root size. Okay. Questions? Are we doing okay? I don't have that glazed over look. That's good. Yeah. Yeah.
Last year, I raked all the rock off, put all this stuff in, I just said, and I put the rock back on top.
So you planted wildflowers. She's got a rock on, so I'll reiterate for you folks. And I can't hear. Be patient. She's got wildflowers, or she planted a wildflower patch with her rocks. Pull back the rock, put the wildflowers down, did all the prep, put the rock back over. I probably would have left the rock off, just because it'll be easier to maintain it down the road. It probably came through
I did.
just fine, but now you got to go back. Like I took a lawnmower from mine yesterday. Well, now you got rocks in there, so it makes it harder to kind of just maintenance-wise.
So just get it clear.
Leave it clear. It's going to make no difference. Probably it will bloom better because now the rocks aren't heating up. So as things are blooming, they're real sensitive to water. If they get too hot, they'll let the flowers go faster. We'll get one over here. Someone have a question? Yeah.
When you're spreading your soil and seed mix, how thick do you want that?
How thick do you spread this mix, this hydromulch that we made? As thin as you can. So I would go 1/4 inch minus, just real thin. That's why I'll take the rake with the stiff time when the time's up. I'll just scooch it and try to get it as thin as I can. And that's good enough. You'll get better. You can go thicker, but it's a waste of time and money, and just you don't need that much seed. It will be spectacular. Don't think you need that much. The one question for you.
I have, my yard is covered in decomposed granite,
Yep.
and then below that is landscape fabric.
Yep.
So if I wanted to do that in a specific area, I'm gonna have to pull that off of there, cut that. How deep do I dig in and put that down?
Good question. So she's got crushed granite, and then she's got fabric underneath the rock, basically. So she's planning on breaking that granite off, even the yard out, and then cut that fabric out of there. And then you just want to go down. The question really was, how deep do I go to prep the soil?
Right.
You don't have to go very deep. These are native seed. They're used to growing. If you give them any care at all, they're going to take off. So just take the rake as deep as you can. Rake that area up just to loosen it up. It's compacted. If you're really worried, it's like rock hard. You got caliche layers or something. Maybe you take a shovel. That's way overkill. It's just a rake. Open it up. Put this down. Away you go.
How much sunlight?
Good question. Should have covered that. How much sunlight do wildflowers need? Not that much. I would say give them at least 4 hours or more. The more you give them, the more flowers you're going to have. So some of the taller things, the echinaceas, they get pretty tall. But then they'll stretch and lean out towards the light if they have too much shade. So the more sun, the better. So give them give them some hot wind, talk dirty, kick dirt at them. They'll like all that. They're native. These are native mixes, okay? So another question over here. Back over here, yeah?
How much that humic do you use?
How much humic do you use? This bag will cover about 2,000 square feet. It's not a nitrogen source. This is it's not going to burn. So if you go a little heavier, that's okay. Then you're just wasting money. So about 2,000 square feet. If you have some in reserve, good. Spread it in about 6 weeks, 8 weeks. Do it again because it'll actually get it. By then they're starting to come up. Once you see them up about this tall, do it again. You just get deeper roots. Right? So really good on spring blooming stuff. Fruit trees, berries. I put this on my blackberries and raspberries. Really works well because again, fruiting plants, roses, things that have big flowers, they need big aggressive roots to support all that top growth. So it helps it to support the root growth. This is root health, not food. You need to actually put the all-purpose plant food on to actually feed it. And there is nothing in your soil. There's no food in your soil. You're going to have to give it some. Otherwise, you'll get emaciated flowers, thin leaves. They just won't grow as big if you fertilize them. Any kind of care with natives, they get glorious. Yeah.
About under giant alligator.
Yeah. Giant alligator juniper. Boy, that's a rough one. I've got a beautiful, big old male, huge. He's got to be 300 years old. 2 trunks. I've pruned him up. I've got art underneath. I uplight him because it's such a beautiful structure. Downlight it, the artwork. It's a highlight of the entire backyard. It's a big old male, so he has an allergy. It's turning yellow right now with pollen. So the males are the ones that cause all the allergies. Females don't. Females are beautiful, sexy. They put berries on. They're gorgeous. Males just want to pollinate the entire mountainside. One tree can pollinate dozens of trees. And I think he's thinking this is the uter. And so it's going to be a problem. I pruned them out, but it is really difficult to grow things under juniper because they're always throwing litter off. That's their defense. So they actually throw things off to bury anything they're claiming their territory. Nothing grows here except my roots. All the water, all the heat is soil. So they're programmed that they actually taint the soil. I only found 2 things that grow really well. 3, 2 mainly. Oregon grape, holly. There's a spreading holly. It's a native. Spreads out kind of ground cover. It has done magnificently underneath the alligator junipers. And then vinca or periwinkle. It's got several names. It's got a green leaf with a blue flower on it, 5 petals. That one is a weed, basically. It grows anywhere. It also does really, really well underneath it. So I had good success with those 2.
I have.
The wildflower mixes, probably not ideal for underneath junipers because you're going to want to stretch and get out underneath, and they're just going to be buried by, especially those shorter flowers, they're going to be buried. Coreopsis, you're not going to like. And yeah. 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 Sure. Yeah. So that's a common. I make a lot of money off of that because you're going to come back for more seed. Try it again. It's a guaranteed repeat business for me. So she's got a drainage area over the wall that she wants to make it beautiful. She wants to have wildflowers out there, but she just wants to throw it over the wall and see if it'll come up. Now, nature, that's how it works. But nature throws off millions upon millions of seed. And so they only need 2% to germinate. It's still beautiful. I don't think you can afford to put that many seed out, so probably not as affordable. But if you could get behind the wall at all and care a little bit, to make a huge difference. Now, the folks that just chuck seed down over a hillside for erosion control, that has not been that successful. If you got a heavy hillside, if you could, open up a pocket. And if you need to, backfill with some potting soil. Make little pockets for the seed to grow, and they will spill over. And now, nature is actually helping. But if you just chuck it over the side and have it go in between the rocks and have it be beautiful, not very successful. Okay, so probably not, you better to make pockets if you could. This is going to help you. You have hydro mulch, you're adding the mulch there. It might actually increase the mulch count. Get 2 bags instead of 1. You're just going to throw it over the edge because now we've got more organic helping the seed to germinate. But again, I'm here to help you 100% success. I want that thing to be glorious. I want you to come back and yeah, by the water, just gotta go over there. And that's where I got it from. They told me how to do it. They got the best seed around. That's the story I want for you. That's success for 62 years. That's how we've been around. So, okay, yeah, good.
But we own just a little bit of plot.
Yeah.
The golf course.
Yeah.
And our guys are always out there. Butterflies.
Spray, yeah.
watering,
Yeah. Yeah.
Are
So she's got, she lives on the golf course. And are you thinking about on the golf course side of the property or your side? Which side? Your side? So you're gonna be very successful on your side. In fact, all the care of the golf course superintendents, all the golf course workers, their fertilizer probably gonna help them. You need it more, if you have overspray, gonna help you. So probably it's gonna be greatly successful. You might even be able to bleed out if you know the golf course superintendent. It's amazing what they'll do. They'll work with you. If you surprise them, you're sure they're going to come after you. But if you talk to them, go, hey, can I plant the tree right there? Would that be okay? What not? Many times they'll let you do that. So that the answer is go for it.
we also have
Yeah. Javelina, they're not your friend. They're your nemesis. That's the number one thing that keeps you from gardening here is javelina. Not the deer, not the rabbits, javelina. And then sometimes they'll dig around. You do this kind of work with humic on there, they're going to go, oh, this is interesting. Wow. They're not eating the seed or doing anything. They're just nosing around going, oh, this is interesting. This while we're here, let's just see what's going on. For there, probably Arizona mix, deer and rabbit mix, or a blend thereof is going to be better for that. They may not be interested in flowers. Generally, they're not big flower eaters, especially the native ones, because we've got bristly, we got thorny kind of flowers that we grow native here. They like the smaller, softer flower, like pansy and that kind of stuff. They'd rather eat those. So probably skew towards that, and eventually you're going to get some seed they don't go after. Good luck. I think that thing too. To keep them out with the electric.
Yeah.
It really works. So
Our front yard, we had the septic system replaced, so
Yep.
it's just bare.
and torn up. So it's backfill already. So you're
Yeah.
Good,
So
okay.
this is what we want to do, but the rest of the yard, we have a drip irrigation system. Should we extend that or just overwater these?
So she's got a septic field that she had to repair. So it's all torn up. Now it's just bare. And so she wants to put wildflowers on top of that. Be very pretty. Should she extend the drip system to help water? So if you can do that, it takes all the pressure off. Yeah, it'd be fabulous. I do mine. I've got a very large, probably 2,000 square foot of wildflower, which is huge. It's glorious. The entire backyard is just wildflowers. It's beautiful. There I took soaker hose just underneath the ground, drip system, and there's a drip soak kind of thing. Just went just underneath the ground, just barely. Turned it on, and wherever I saw a wet spot, that's where the wildflowers went. It's just spread from there. So if you can do that, that works out great. Yeah, do it. Is there a question over here? Yeah. Yeah, that's good, actually. Okay, very good question. That's an engineer or something. There's something, that's a deep thinker right there. So that's good. So the question is, if you're into freeze thaw, let's say in May, the biggest mistake I find people make, we go over the question for you folks. What happened? Can I just stick them in the freezer to artificially crack open the hull, cause that scarifying of that opening of the seed hole? The answer is yes, you can. No need to do that if you're doing it now. If you're not doing it until April or May, so when we're at capacity, that's the biggest mistake I find people make. They're seeing your wildflowers you planted in January. They go, oh, that's pretty. I want some of those. They come in May. get the seed, we'll try to encourage them to throw that in the freezer for a couple days, bring it back out, put it back in for a couple days. You do that a couple times, you just artificially brought on winter for them. And yes, that is highly successful. You can do that very, very well. So if you're late, or your construction isn't quite ready, or it's not going to be until June, you can still start wildflowers now. Very good question. Yeah.
These seed mixes, or one of them preferably, outcompete, what do you call that, horehound and goathead?
Yeah. So she wants, okay, good question. So she's got horehound, she got native weeds. Horehound's big, aggressive, you need a backhoe, big thing. Or goat heads, when it spreads like this, beautiful little plant. And you lift it up, it's got 100 or more seed heads and thorns on them, we call them goat heads. Because they look like a goat's head, and the dogs whimper when they walk over them. I've seen them they pop tractor tires, it's crazy. So will it keep them, will it overtake them? The answer is yes. Horehound, I'm not sure. Once they're established, it's really difficult. But basically, if wildflowers are tall, if they get all the sun, they're not going to allow goat head to get the sun. Goat heads, you notice where those weeds grow? They grow where nothing else grows because they don't want to compete with anything else. You put wildflowers down, you're going to reduce greatly the amount of weeds coming up at you. So I think it'd be highly, highly successful.
What kind of prep do you have to do for that?
Break up. I just told you. It's just the whole
But I mean, you
process.
don't have to dig it out.
Well, if you can, that's ideal. If you can get rid of the weeds first, there's no goat heads alive right now. They're waiting there in seed form to come up. Horehound is up. It's already up. And so if you can kill some of those and dig them out, the best thing you can. I mean, everything is going to start growing when you start tending for this plot of soil. Everything. All the seed are going to come up. So you might need to watch, if it's a really heavy weeded area, you might have to hand pick a few of those out, make sure these guys take over, so it's not inverted. So the horehound don't shade all the wildflowers, and you end up with a lot more horehounds. You kind of want to watch this. So yeah, careful. Do your gardener thing. Make sure that it's the way you want it. You're controlling nature. Plants are wild. They're going to go wild. Wildflowers, trees, sure, they're wild things. We're just taming these wild plants and growing them ourselves. We call that gardening. But they still, without any care, they leave this wild form. You want to prune, craft, and take care of. In the back. Yeah, is there any difference in planting seed in pots or raised beds the same way? No difference, it's actually easier. Because you don't have to rake it, you already got the soil. I would say fill that pot up with potting soil, the best soil. But potting soil is made for pots. That's the name, potting soil. It's what we start all of our seedlings in. Our tomatoes are starting our potting soil. Cuttings or bringing, we're starting our potting soil. So of course your wildflower seeds are going to do magically. I would still add some fertilizer, unless it's fresh potting soil. We put a 5-5 organic potting. We put a 5-5 organic food in our soil already, but that lasts for about 6 weeks and then it fades. So you might still want to add some of that. I don't think you probably need humic if you're using pots, because the soil is already rich like that. Using potting soil for that. The magic's already in the soil. We already did all this in the potting soil. That's why it grows so fast. So probably it's easier for your containers. You should start them right now. Seeds, you should start all wildflowers now. I'd say by mid-March, you should have all your garden wild seed. Otherwise, you have to do the artificial cold thing. You have to throw them in the freezer for a couple days. Let them out for a couple days, put it back in, and that should artificially get them. Okay? We don't do that here with the seed. We're expecting you to put those out so the seed will come out on our own timing. So again, talk to us, we can help you. Good questions today, really good, yeah. A man in the front, right off. Right here. Yeah. How long does the seed last? And so we have to test them. So the state of Arizona says They must be tested every 9 months to make sure the germination rate is well in the 90s, close to the germ. As they age, they get less and less. They lose their vigor. So some of those seeds will die out. I say use them up in a couple of years at most. Use them up this year if you can. It's okay to leave some in reserve. And so if you missed a spot, oh, fairy, garden fairy, that's more over here. And that, or the rains come and they tend to float a little bit. So they kind of congregate over. You can go back, and it's okay to have a few in reserve, but if you run out, I know where you can get more. In fact, we try not to run out of these. We try to always have them, there's always pressure, always tension. So you're gonna have a good seed. Yeah, it's a good question. We have already had. Anyone else that hasn't had it? Okay, yeah.
I have about a 5,000 square foot area of nothing but sand.
Yeah.
How would I?
So she's got, before it's raining out or something, yeah, she's got nothing but sand, crushed granite, whatever. It's real loose, especially that top layer, that top foot is really loose. So water goes to swoosh right through it. So for you, what should she do for that? She's got a big area, 5,000 square feet. I love it. Okay, that's great. Perfect place for wildflowers. So that's one. I would almost blend the grass seed mix with the wildflowers. If that's your thing. If you just want flowers, that's great. That's a big plot. Get some native grasses and blend them together in the same blend, and all of a sudden you've got both out there, and it'll quickly go. Grasses are very deep rooted. Native grasses are very deep rooted. They'll help hold that soil in. You may have to water a little bit to get it started, because again, seedlings are sensitive to two things. Too much water, they root rot, or they dry out. You don't want either one of those things. That's where maybe a fan or impact or some way to get it going until it gets started. Once those roots are down, you'll get really deep roots in sandy soil, deeper than, let's say, some up the valley. Poor Poland folks. That soil is so hard. It's just caliche layers are out there. Doing just caliche layers. That's harder actually to start seedlings in than sand. Sand's easy, so it should be okay once you get them rooted. Good question. Okay, want to show off a couple things? Okay, yeah.
I'm gonna be buying.
The second row is very needy today. I'm proud of it. Everyone.
I'll preface this with, I'm gonna be buying a lot of seeds, so we're
Okay.
gonna save money. We work at the community compost building, we get compost for free.
Awesome.
Can I use that instead of the mulch?
Yeah, great. So she's got free access to compost. We'll let you do that. Where do people go to get that?
Community compost.
There you
to the
go.
farmer's market.
Farmers market. Compost is great. If it's chunky, not ideal, because the chunks tend to hide seed. The seed tends to, so this is screened down, you'll see real fine. Looks like it is on purpose for seedlings, and it's better in clay soil and stuff. I would say the finer it is, the better. If it's real woody, if it's got a bunch of wood chunks, probably better to get a bag and do it that way, just so you know. And then maybe you could top dress it once it's up or something. So seedlings are real sensitive. They want to see some light. They want to get too wet. They're like babies. Ignore them for a bit. They're gone. Okay. Want to show a couple things. Just I'm proud of them. One, first crop of pansies came just off the truck. These are winter plants. Now these aren't wild. They'll take. This is for gardeners. January. This is really for gardeners. These are winter bloomers. So pansies love the cold. The biggest mistake I find with new folks here is they come in and see pansies blooming all winter. Mine are literally have been blooming all winter. They come and they get the last crop the end of April or May, and then it's hot right now. These do not like summer. They like cold. And so these I think you could plant right now and they'd be fine. Not big pretty, oh my gosh. And then snapdragons came in. First crop. So it's kind of fun. So animals don't eat these. Deer, rabbit, javelina don't bother snapdragons. Again, it's cool weather. Cold. These look good together. You have a tall thing, got a short thing. Instant container. There you go. And then javelina like pansy. Yeah, be careful with that. They'll eat them. They'll go out, they'll climb, they'll have a harness and drop off the rooftop. Just panties. They don't like panties. So kind of watch out. Snaps, they don't go after. They don't go after this one either. They use a lot of this. This is Dusty Miller. This Dusty Miller has a defense. It's coated itself in his hair. So you start to eat those, you get stuck in their throat, they kind of go like, It's a real pretty yellow flower to it. The Catalina will not do this. It's pretty. Anyway, it's pretty. It's good filler. They don't bother herbs. First herb crop came. So here, just kind of rub that. Just because you need a garden fix, just kind of pass it around. Go get your garden fix. Just enjoy it. So all organic herb. All of our herbs and veggies are completely organic, never sprayed. Just anyway, isn't that fun? And then lettuce came in. So all the cool season vegetables and herbs came in. I think once you get your soil prepped, you can start planting. We're not heating this house in the evening, so we're letting it go down to the ambient temperature. So these guys get hardened off. This is lettuce. Yeah, that's lettuce. So anyway, just fun new things coming in. Next week comes our first fruit tree truck. Lilacs come next week. Forsythia come next week. So it's kind of the first. It takes a while to fill this place up with 2 acres of plants. Right now I've got not that many. It's all the winter stuff. Well, now all the spring stuff is on its way. It's literally on the truck, on its way. It's kind of exciting. It's right around the corner. Can't wait. Yes. Kind of Christmas for gardeners. I think you can go all the herbs we have now. Rosemary, lavender, you can put out now. Mint, you can't kill mint. Just it's like a weed. It's a weed. So oregano, I think you put out. I would not even remotely think of cilantro, basil. That's a spring. That's a summer plant. So our last frost date here, just for you new folks. How many are new? It's your first time. Maybe you're new here or garden center. Awesome. So third of the class. Well done. Our locals use Mother's Day as the demarcation line for last frost. It's actually, the date is May 8th. May 8th, it's 100 years of data. May 8th is the last frost. Okay. Locals use Mother's Day. I know it floats a little bit. This year it's on the 12th or something. Kind of use it. You can plant before that. You just have to be ready to cover things, protect them. Summer plants. So basil's one of those. Basil, if you look at it just vaporizes. If you need a jacket on at night, it does too. So kind of protect that. Things like mint, I don't care. They're going no matter what. So it's kind of that lenient. So we actually have some more for newcomers class. I think that's the third week in February. Check the website, watersgardencenter.com. There's a class button right there. It has the entire list. I think there's a gardening for newcomers. We go deep into zones, frost dates, all that stuff. Just kind of be aware of that. That's the main one you really want to watch, is that Mother's Day. Before that, you're doing spring plants, early spring. After that, you can do your true spring. That's tomatoes go in, geraniums go in. Then we got our summer mix. So that's crepe myrtles, roses Sharons. The roses bloom again in the summer. You got your fall, which is maples and aspens, trim that beautiful color, and you got your winter. So it's evergreen. This mainly what's out there right now is very heavily skewed towards evergreen kind of stuff. So new folks, we'll go deep into that. Come to the new garden, you new folks, come to the garden for newcomers. Be kind of technically heavy, but you'll have all the dates you need to go with that'll help you not make as many mistakes. With gardening, you make mistakes. You learn gardening by making mistakes. I just don't want you to learn that much all at once. I want you to make less mistakes. Yeah. Is the clipboard still going around with the handouts? I'll just kind of pass it this way. We'll kind of work through it. Okay? We'll try to stall until get through these last 3 rows. Any last question? We okay? You can start now. It's okay to do it. It's you should do it next. By the end of February is ideal for love bugs. No matter the mix. Whether it's hummingbird, Arizona mix, deer and rabbit mix, or poppy mix, do them now. If you wait longer than that, you can artificially get them cold, freeze them basically. That's it. Okay, yeah.
Are they boxed
Oh, yeah, I'm just trying to make it back. I forgot to put the
I know.
right behind the I should usually have the wall of waters logos behind this. Maybe a few folks on camera. But she's asking to put these up, not because they're anything, just they're pretty. Yeah.
And they are getting a little yellow at the tips, is that what you mean by I've just stressed them out?
It's overwater. Can be overwater or it's winter chlorosis.
Because I don't water them much
Good.
at all.
So it's winter chlorosis, very, very common. It's the daylight. The days are so short, it wants more sun. And so as plants, they'll green right up as soon as the daylight gets up. As soon as you'll see things growing by end of March, it'll be all green and growing again. Food, food, food. Next fall, fertilize those boxwoods, polys, whatever that is, that evergreen. You give them that 744 all-purpose, that will keep them green because it's got sulfur, lowers the pH, so it keeps them greener, and it has a food that keeps them greener. It's got iron, it keeps them greener.
I thought I did do that, but I don't think I put enough.
And maybe not enough. It's usually a food thing will keep them greener. You walk through your yard, you look at your deodar cedars, some of your evergreens, some of the junipers, they're kind of off color. That's what we're talking about. It's called winter chlorosis. They're pale. They just need more vitamin D, basically. They need to be out there and taking the sun more. And they weren't probably fertilized enough in the fall. That fall fertilizer, especially for evergreens, game changers. So the most important feeding of the entire year is Halloween. Fall season. That's the most important, especially for things that are blooming in the spring. So lilacs. The buds on those are getting very large right now. Fruit trees, the buds are very large. If you can fertilize, I would say you can fertilize them now. That will increase the size of the buds to get more elongated growth out of your pine trees or your cedars or your boxwoods, and it'll green them up. So,
So you're saying I should add a
right
little
now, yeah, fertilize now. So I've got a new privacy screen that I'm trying to block. I've got some Arizona cypress. They're still small. I'm juicing them. I just fertilized them a couple of weeks ago, and I'm going to do it again in March when I start to see new growth. I'm going to juice them again, just so I can get those things up to size. And once they're big enough, I'll probably grow them because they're natives. But until then, I want them up to size. So new things. I'm going to fertilize my blooming things. So I've got this spectacular white lilac, way taller than I am. It's very mature. Beautiful fragrance. I think white is the most fragrant of all the lilacs. I want to increase that flower. I want that entire side of the yard to be covered with just lilacs. So I'm giving that a little extra. My spring blooming things need a little extra. And that right now is a good time. Winter fertilize that mid because you'll get a bigger bud. Bigger. I think plants are growing right now. Kind of in stasis. But if you look closely, those buds, they're swelling. That's usually the flower buds, the ones you're seeing up and down the stems. Okay?
So what kind of fertilizer? Would it be liquid in water?
Well, let me tell you. What kind of fertilizer it is? Don't use liquid fertilizers
Okay.
in the yard. So Miracle Grow is nothing but junk in a box. I know it's cheap, but it's a salt-based fertilizer. It's going to react with your water that's very heavy in minerals. It just causes damage. So you notice we don't sell that here. There's a reason for that. It's number one selling ag product, garden product in the country, Miracle Grow. But we don't sell it here because so many customers do damage to plants. We make our own water soluble, but I don't think you should be using that. You should be using a granular food that's long released. So this is all, and I think it should be organic. We can do that. So put together an organic fertilizer, it's granular, and spread it around in a hand spreader by hand. And then as water hits it, it releases a little bit of food over a 3-month period. That's what makes it happen. A water base will release really quick. And within 2 weeks after a couple storms, it's just flushed through and it's gone. Synthetics, so your Scott's Turk builders, these type of chemical-based, petroleum-based fertilizers, ones you know, those will typically release in 3 to 4 weeks, just real fast release. So you see it juicy. It's green right now, and then it's gone. This is way healthier. If you're on a well, don't use chemicals. It just makes sense. You could drink some stuff. It's going to go on the table. Organics don't go in the water table. Plants pick up all of it. It's just kind of a little bit of my soapbox. We do this number one seller right now. This is the number one seller ever. We sell 10 to 1 of this over everything else. except for vegetables. We do make a vegetable and fruit tree food just for those. We juice it with a lot of calcium. Calcium is what brings up the flavor and gets you bigger tomatoes, better flavors, apples and peaches. It just brings up the flavor. So it's a 6447, 7% of it is calcium. Just because we know you're going to be lacking that in our gardens. We know you're lacking that, so we can help you have better berries, better grapes. So anyway, thank you. Who asked that? I didn't know. Thank you. You're hired. Hey, John.
Yes, she needs a job.
If you do know anyone, we're about to go on a hiring binge. So we need about 10 positions filled and 3 managers. Had a couple retired folks, so you can fill those in. And I need some cashiers and other stuff. So if you know folks who want a great job, we pay really well. And the employee discount's over the top.
They have to be plant savvy.
Have them come,
Yeah.
you don't be plant savvy, you gotta be people savvy. You gotta like people first, you gotta be adaptable, gotta be able to have multiple hats. You can do that. You learn plants here through osmosis. Because you're around it. Every truck that comes in, it's literally like Christmas for gardeners. It's so exciting. Did I show you my pansies? I've been selling these for over 30 years. I still get excited about it. It's just fun. Anyway, with that, I'll let you go. I'll hang out as long as you want, answer questions. But what I did do is, I brought a couple bags. If you want to, I don't need any more wildflowers. If you want to take some of this home with you, I'll give you a scoop. You can take it, spread it. It won't be very much. It'll be a little pack. Be good for a container. Whatever. You can come and get some of this. Okay, in fact, what I'll do is I'll put it right here, and I'll let you scoop out your own. Do some for neighbors. Scoop here. Just take a bag. It's all yours. And then 10% off of all that. You need a bigger batch. 10% off of all the wildflower seed. Not all the seed, the wildflower seed today. Okay. With that, I'll let you clap. I'll let you. Thank you.